Hey everybody, welcome to This Board Game Life, episode number 80, titled Game Store Delights. This is the show about gaming, board games, tabletop games, stuff associated with games, anything else we want to talk about. I am one of your fine hosts for today. My name is Rob, and with me, as always, I got my best bud, Mark.
Hey Rob, how you doing this fine day?
I am doing super fantastico. Thank you very much. How are you doing?
I'm great. Great.
Excellent. So that makes two of us. You know what would make me even greater, more
What?
fantastical, is hearing what you've been playing lately.
Ooh, I can
How about
accommodate that.
okay.
So I've got a couple games played over the last couple weeks, and one of them is Fractured Sky. I think I mentioned this before. I played with my daughter. We played a couple
Yeah, that's
times.
right.
Okay. And like the second time we played it was much better than the first because we had an idea of what we were doing. And, that
Eh,
first play, it's always a learning
Yeah.
and it was much better. So I had
And
a,
sometimes it's, you're on the struggle bus
yeah,
learning some of these games and
dude,
getting all the rules. So you
I
live on
live
that
on the
bus.
struggle bus.
Hey, we all have those days.
That's my life. I like that. The struggle bus. I have
Yeah.
not heard that one.
Yeah, it's like, what do you mean, like, sort the cards in ascending order? What? I don't know what you're talking about. Like
Speak English.
the simple things sometimes do not compute.
Yeah. But Fractured Sky, I got to play with a couple other people in my gaming group, and it's I like it, but see, it's a blind auction game,
Yeah.
and I also have picked up Skyrise recently, which is also an auction game, but it's not a blind auction. I absolutely love Skyrise. It is absolutely like I want to play that one all the time. The Fractured Skies, it's kind of like, okay, it's all right, but it's just definitely different. I just think the blind auction is not my style. I prefer the game style of the other one.
Sure.
Um, but it's still a fun game as you're trying to figure out. There's more to it. I think you get deduction, which you really don't have like in Skyrise. And I think Skyrise is probably a little. Skyrise to me is still a medium weight game, and I think Fractured Skies would be. It's still medium, but maybe a little bit higher rating. Just because there's a couple of because it is that blind auction, you don't necessarily know where people are going. You're trying to deduct from the different available things that you can see on the board what people are doing, like when people are looking to see where the known skyfalls are, they have to take a resource from that position, and they mark down what they took, so it kind of gives everyone else at the table an idea of like, okay, well, I know there's a skyfall at one of the places that has gold, for example, so
Hmm.
it knocks out a couple options and you're trying to so there is kind of that deduction and what people are doing, and you're trying to figure out. And as the game goes on, there's more and more locations that have them, and it is a fun game. You've really got it's a resource management as well because you have to have resources to do anything, and the resources are not necessarily easy to come by. So there's a couple different, like, I think some different ways to play the game, which is good. I do kind of like that. Each time I've played it, I've done something a little bit different as I'm learning it. So that has been kind of a cool experience in that aspect. So, in fact, the last time we played, it was basically neck and neck with me and another guy. And I know we were basically going to be fighting for first place. It was the very last round. And I was like, okay, if I go out, there was an option I could get. I knew I could snag a Skyfall, which is what you're trying to get. Um, and I was like, but and I could go out because the I would go out early and be done for the game, but I could secure it in hopes that of a tie. And because I went out first, that puts me in first for a tie, like puts me in control of winning a tiebreaker. So I decided to like grab the guarantee and hope that he didn't get anything extra in his turns to make him get two starfalls. And it paid off. And it was, I ended up winning the game by that one point. And we were talking about at the end, and he's like, yeah, he was thinking about doing the same thing. Um, but he decided to try the other way to see if he could, you know, get the beat win by two and get the or win by one. And it worked out for me. So it was kind of cool that I was like using a strategy, which is, usually I'm more of a um, thinky games were not me, but I'm getting better at them the more I have played things. So, and that's one thing I think a downfall of always playing something new is you don't get a chance to really learn something. And just in my third play of Fractured Skies in a just in a couple of weeks, I was like, okay, I know I could do this. I could, there was a couple options. So that definitely made it better. And I think even if I played it again, that would be I'd probably do things even a little bit more different, a little bit more different, a little more differently. I play
Mo
things differently,
different.
mo different. Um, and so it was a really fun game, and how that kind of came out and how it worked out, and it was a little stressful but it was pretty fun. I did enjoy that. So that's Fractured Sky. Fun game. But if I have to pick even though I'm not a big fan of the blind auction, so but it does add interesting things. So the next
Sure.
one I did get. If you remember, we were at Gen Con. I think you and Franco were kind of laughing because we walked past a game and I saw that it came with deluxe components, and I stopped and I'm like, "Ooh, what's this?" And you guys are like,
Sounds right.
"Oh, yeah," and it was called First in Flight.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And so I looked at it and I was like, "No, I'm not gonna pick this up. I'm just not gonna." And then we walked around the booth and they had a table set up where people were playing it. And one of the people, and I stopped and I was looking at it, and the guy was like, "Oh, are you interested? Can I answer any questions?" And so he kind of quickly explained while he was playing with this group of people, like how the game worked. And he was talking about it's a push your luck, it's a deck builder, it's got a rondelle. And I'm just like, I really enjoy all those mechanics. And as I
Hmm.
was watching it, I'm like, this looks like it could be fun. So I ended up buying, of course, the deluxified version.
Well, I remember.
Um,
Yeah. So I was
and
standing right there.
I did get to play this, and it's actually fun. I really did enjoy this. You are trying to you get this to everyone again. It's a deck builder, so everyone starts with the same deck, and this board that's out. The rondelle is like I don't know if you've ever played Wonderland's War. That's the only one I've played that, and I know Finca is got a rondelle as well, and I guess that's kind of the same because you're moving like well, this one's a little different than Finca from what I recall, because I think Finca was like, depending on how you moved, was like how many how many actions you could take, or something like that. And this one, it's like if you played Wonderland's War, it's very much similar to that, where you have this big circular track, and you can go anywhere you want on it, and you're picking what action you're going to do, whether you're going to do a test flight, whether you're going to do repair, whether you're going to do, these different things that there are in the game. You can get like upgrades for your plane, and the kind of the theme of it is like, think of back with the Wright brothers, and that era of like just learning to fly, just starting to figure out how to fly planes.
Mhm.
And so you are trying to be the first person that can go a distance of 40 is the length that you're trying. So basically 40 victory points once you get to 40. And you're doing that by having these cards out, and the cards are going to be like a distance of 1 or maybe 2. The upgrades will be like you're flying a distance of 5 or something like that. So you want to get more of those in. There's some negative cards that will be in your deck, because it's an experimental flight. You are going to have things that need to be repaired. Things will happen. So you can take like a total of, if you hit 4 damage, then you crash. If you pull 4 damage out of your deck as you're playing,
Okay.
because you will, unlike on other deck builders where you have a hand of 5 cards, your deck, you're always using your full deck. So every time you're going to do a test flight, you shuffle up your cards. You never are looking at the cards until you flip them over. So you got your whole deck and you just start pulling them out. You just start flipping over one after the other. And, so you get like 1 distance, 2 distance. There's a damage. Then you flying 1, and then some cards allow you to, if you've got I forgot what they're called. It's like an expert or something, but you pull that card and it allows you to pull another one off this shared deck that adds another 1 distance into your deck for good. And so you might have special powers that let you ignore like the first damage that you have or whatnot, but you want to try to go as far as you can without crashing. And so once you decide that, okay, I've gone as far as I want, then you have this other card that you use that you will put in play, and it's your descend card. Now you have to draw 2 more cards. If you do and you don't crash, then you get like 5 distance for that descend card. And you add up all the however far you went, and then you move that many points on the board. And if you end up crashing on because of the last 2 cards you required, then you'll only get like 2 points with your descend card. You will still get points for how far you flew, but you won't get as many. And then once you've done a flight and you see things that need to be repaired, you can take like a card and put it into your hangar so that you can repair it on a later move by doing a repair action. And then that removes that kind of heavy hitter damage card that might have 2 or 3 damage on it. And then you get rid of it, but you still take like a standard damage card. It's like a generic one, because we're experimental flight. There's always going to be something going wrong, but you're replacing these heavy hitters with a card that's just a single damage. Um, so those are always going to exist, but you're building your deck up, trying to get more and more, fewer of the big ones that you have to repair, and more cards that will allow you to fly a lot further distances and stuff. And it was really fun. And I found it like in our first turn, I was going last, and it's like I couldn't get a flight in, because everyone is doing flight actions. So, and it's like I don't want to go all the way around, because once you go around the once, then you have to wait for everyone to complete that first trip around the rondelle, because that ends round 1. So if you are quick and go, then you're just sitting there while everyone else is making moves and doing various things, and you know
Yeah.
you're going to be losing out. So you don't want to go too fast. You don't want to go too slow. Um, and it's if someone else is on that spot, you can't do it. Some spots will cost you money. You have to, and some things will give you money. So if you want to do, like, say you have, there are certain cards like you can get, but you got to pay for it in money, or if you don't have money, you have to spend it in time. And what time is, I was also on the rondelle. There's other spots that, and you can have everybody can be on those time spots. It's not limited to one, but it's basically a time penalty. You have to go forward 2 spaces on these time spots. So it's more than 2 action spots. So you lose out on the ability to do those actions because you're basically pushed forward in time. And the way the game plays is whoever's in last place on the rondelle is always going, they're always next in turn. So if you're sitting out front, you could be sitting there for several turns before you get to go again because you're going to have to wait till everyone passes you. So it's really cool. I really dug it. The game didn't play as long as I thought it was going to be. It actually went quicker than I expected. Um, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm really looking forward to playing this again. This is again called First in Flight, and yeah, had a great time with that game. I'm really glad
Nice.
I picked it up. So we did complete our Clank Legacy Acquisitions Incorporated
Very
campaign.
nice.
We played 11 rounds. It's typically a 10, but in our campaign, we did uncover an extra mission that we got to do. So we got to play 11 rounds before we completed it. Really, we enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun with it. We're looking forward to Clank Legacy 2, which is supposed to be available for pre-order here this month sometime. So I had to keep my eye on the Direwolf page and snag that, hit that pre-order button as soon as that comes available. But um, to me, Clank Legacy is probably, I love Clank Catacombs. I think Clank Catacombs is the best non-legacy Clank game. I guess that's the best way to say it. I love Clank, fell in love with it. Have yet to play Clank in Space, which I always heard was better. I have it all, and I have yet to play it. So I got to get it to the table like here real quick. It's like I just want to play it once. But Clank Catacombs is like the one that I love to play. And so we played this last week with the Lairs and Lost Chambers expansion. And that was a lot of fun. That really added some kind of cool things, some unique actions to the game that I haven't seen in a Clank game. And I do think Clank Catacombs is like the best. But the Clank Legacy, it adds so many unique things, and it's like the game is constantly changing. You're flipping between the overworld and the underworld, so your board has 2 sides. There's different things happening. You're basically trying to complete these contracts, and then it's like, okay, when you do, you're reading this thing out of the big book of secrets, and it's like, what's it going to do? I got this. I know you pick up an artifact. Well, okay, that some of the missions will be like, take that artifact here, end your turn on this spot with this artifact, and it's like, well, you might lose it, but what are you going to gain? Some things are good, some things maybe not as good as you'd want, but it's just it's a constant kind of a battle, and plus it's a kind of a cooperative game because if you want to try to experience everything Clank Legacy has, you all need to kind of work together so that someone's not running in, grabbing stuff, and running out like a normal Clank game, because then you're not going to
Right.
get all these contracts and you're not going to get to enjoy the full experience. So my group, we were really like, okay, we made sure we were like trying to get these things done. We didn't get every card in the game. We didn't get every contract, but we got just about all of them. And every time you're doing, you're unlocking new things, and that's just really cool to keep adding new stuff into the game. Really think Clank Legacy is awesome. So if you like it and you haven't played it, check that out. But you're going to need a group of your group that can over some time. It doesn't take a long time, but you got to at least plan for at least 10 missions minimum, probably 11, and anywhere from the first game probably going to be an hour. But by your last ones, you're probably going to be in there for 2 hours. Actually, our last 2 games actually went really quick. And it was weird because, like, I think our second to last game, that one was like less than an hour. And I was like, wow, that was a fast play. But they shouldn't take you more than 2 hours. But you can get a group, over a couple of weeks or a couple of months to play this through, I think it's worth it. Rob, you and I have been playing Jaipur, River Valley Glassworks,
Yep, yep.
Draft and Write Records. On
Dude, I crushed you in that
I
records game. What happened?
I don't know. I saw that today before it was ending. I was like, he's double my score. What
It was like
happened? Like
200 to 100. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it was. Oof.
The
And I thought I was doing
stars,
okay.
the stars aligned,
I guess they did.
and the points were flowing.
For
like
you.
like the spice.
Yeah. So
Spice
along with
must
those
flow.
games
Yeah.
and Mountain Goats, you and I have been playing these on BGA this
Yeah.
last couple of weeks. I know we got a couple going now. I didn't list what we're playing right now because I don't log it until the game is over.
Right.
And since we're doing it takes us a couple of days to finish a game. So
And
just taking our
and
turns.
and I threw two new games at you. One was Sobek, which to me, Sobek has the same feel as the Jaipur. Very, very
Yeah.
similar style of game. And then Hill 218, Battle for Hill 218, which is a super simple, yet it's a little funky at first, card game.
Well, I know I've destroyed you a couple of times.
Yeah.
A couple of your units already. So in that, but like I said, I didn't mention those because we started them, but I like those will be in my next week.
Yeah,
Like once we
exactly.
complete, then I actually count it as played. So, but yeah, those we're playing right now. Let's see what else. I already talked about Catacombs. Oh, I tried Under Falling Skies.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, this dude, this is Space Invaders, the board game.
Absolutely 100% right on. Yep.
Yeah. It's fun. So I played the first time I played it on the easy mode. And I'm like, this was okay, that was kind of fun. That was easy. And
Mhm.
then I flipped the board over to the other side to do the harder. Oh my goodness.
To a crushing defeat.
Yes, I got destroyed. I couldn't even get the research going. I couldn't get it started. The one time I had I got 2 research, the very next turn the enemy the mothership moved down and took my research away. They kept knocking my bulldozer back. I had nowhere to go. There were so many ships coming down. It was crazy. And I was like, this is insane. But it was fun. Now I know there's this campaign or story mode, and I want to go into that. That's so now that I got my kind of taste for it, I want to try to beat it on the hard mode before I do the story because I don't know what the story is going to present, and I feel like I better be able to at least do that once, but I don't know. I'm not sure what to expect. Maybe the story will start out a little easier and work its way up, but I'm interested to try the little campaign that's in there. So I'm hoping to do that here soon. Okay, so I did play Ticket to Ride with my daughter and my mother. Now my daughter's been wanting to play this because this is her game. She loves this game. She kicks butt at this game. And the last time I played her, I whooped her, and it has bothered her. And I've kept telling her, "Nope, we're not going to play. I went out on a high note. I'm holding on to this victory as long as I can." Well, this weekend we played. I was like, "Yeah, come on, let's just play." And so Grandma was here, and her and I played with Grandma, and Grandma kicked everybody's butt.
Oh, wow.
And I beat my daughter by 1 point. She came in last, so she's not a happy camper.
Wow.
So I was like, you got beat by your grandmother and your dad.
You are relishing in this a little too much.
Oh, my
But
daughter and
victory
I,
is sweet.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's her and I. She kicks my butt at everything.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the fact that I've beat her twice in Ticket to Ride is like what And I figured she had me just beat like crazy. So, but
Yeah, I think she just doesn't win the games with you. She crushes you
she
like
normally does. Yeah.
a certain draft and write records game.
Oh, whatever. You get one win. I gift you a win and look at you. You're like, I slaughtered you. I was shocked when I saw today that it was like, holy crap, he's like 100 points ahead. What happened? So
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't even know. I wasn't even like looking at the score. I normally don't. I try to watch like I probably shouldn't say, but you tend to get your band members out. I don't necessarily focus on bandmates all the time. And I've lost you because you're just like boom, 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 getting your band members out. All of a sudden, it's like I've got 4 out and you got 12, and the game ends. I'm like, I was trying to get all these other bonuses here. What are you doing?
They say,
So
end on a high note, which is when you're ahead.
yeah,
Trigger the game end while you're ahead versus
exactly.
when you're losing. Yeah.
All right, so a couple things to talk about. I got a couple more. One, I put my big boy pants on this last week, and I'm not sure if I liked it or not. My group was brought Brass Birmingham, and this one lady in my group, she's like, "No, Mark, this is good for you. You got this is good. This is like your progression. You're coming along. You got to keep moving up that ladder of difficulty." Man, this game hurt my head. This was, and then I was
I
playing it
get it.
wrong. I
Okay.
was playing it so, and we didn't realize it till the very end of the game. And I kept getting these city cards, like in the second round in the rail era. I kept getting these city, like my whole hand was city cards. Crap! I got nothing to build. I just keep getting these stupid town cards. Well, I didn't realize you could play a town card and put any resource that is in that town, like you could build that. Like you didn't have to have the resource card as well. And that's what I thought. I thought I had to have the town and the card, the resource. So I'm just sitting there doing nothing every round. I'm like, there's nothing I can do, nothing I can do. And then at the very end, the guy that brought the game, I had set a card down. I had discarded. And then he was like, well, why don't you, and he was trying to help me, and he's like, why don't you,
Play the game correctly.
yeah, why don't you build this here to help you connect this or whatever? And I was like, well, I don't have that resource. It takes, the cotton box or whatever. And he's like, but this card lets you do that. And I was like, I don't need the resource as well. And he's like, no, that's what this card does. And I'm just like, you got to be kidding. Because the whole time I'm complaining, all I got are these stupid town cards. I'm getting no resources. So kind of wish he would have told me that earlier. Or he may have. He probably did. I'm sure he did. And it just all trying to, in fact, I know he
Yeah.
did. I know he did. Um, it's just one of those, there was so much, this game was like, I just couldn't wrap my head around it. Like, and it was, like a deer in the headlights type of thing. So you can't take it all in on that first playthrough. So we'll
Yeah. And
probably do it again, but I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe my happy place is medium weight games.
well, the thing with some of the games like this too is that they take a little bit of determination, right? To play them a couple of times to, get the whole flow of the game. I'll call it
Right.
that. And once you do that, you're like, holy smokes, this is a good game. It's like, but you don't really fully get that until you play it a couple of times. It's like you have to give it a chance and absorb it. It's not like
Exactly.
some lighter games where it's like, oh, I played Azul once. It's a cool game. I like it. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I know that if I play it again, if I give it the time like that, if I play it several more times, and I do, if and I think once it clicks, that we'll be fine with it. Uh, I don't expect it to be like, okay, I've played this 4 or 5 times, I don't like it or I don't get it. But I think that once I grasp this game, then that's going to help make other heavier games easier to pick up on.
Absolutely. Yep.
So not only do I want to play it more just for to see how I really feel about this game, but I want to learn it to enough where I can be competent and understand what it is I'm doing to allow me to move forward in the game space to try other heavier games.
Right. Because
So
it's really difficult to enjoy a game while you're struggling to figure out what's going on, while you're
right.
trying to remember all the rules. It's like you really need to get to the point of where you're actually playing the game, right? Without, looking at the manual every couple of minutes, without asking for help, without being reminded, oh, yeah, you got to do this or you got to do that. So, yeah, give it a chance.
Yeah, and this goes back to exactly what I was saying about Fractured Sky. Like my first playthrough was kind of like, but again, we kept having to read the rules. I was trying to wait. We got to do this every time we did something. I was looking. It's like, well, can we do that, or how does this work? And you kind of felt like you didn't know what you were doing. But by
Yep.
the third time I played it, I'm like, okay, if I do this, I might pull a win out. And well, even in my second game, I thought I was going to beat my daughter. I was like, okay, even in my second game, I was already using strategy and like not just kind of playing it to get through it, but playing it going, okay, if I do this, I think I can pull this off, but I should have known better. My daughter's too smart. She was able to deduct where I was going, what was available, what was seen, what she could see on the board, what she knew was where there were no starfalls and where they possibly were. That she ended up winning, and my plan didn't work. But again, I was like,
Drats
it was
foiled again.
such a huge difference just from game 1 to 2, and then by game 3, I was actually able to pull it off, but a completely different strategy. But it was like I saw that. It's like, oh, I'm going out now, and then I'm debating, do I go out early and hopefully make this win? Because at that point, I will be tied with him, but I will be first, and where I would be the tiebreaker, where I knew if he went out first, then I'm going to have to find somehow gain a second starfall to get one above him. So again, so that type of strategy and that type of thinking was now available to me where it wasn't the first game or even the second game. So that's the thing. I know with brass, even in the second game, it'll be a lot better. Probably still won't be totally comfortable because I still feel like, huh? But there was things that were even in that game that they kept telling me, you can't put this down, or you can't sell this good because you don't have a direct connection to someone that's buying it. And I'm like, it's right here. And they're like, yeah, but you don't have a network there. And I just like, you
You
know,
big dummy.
yeah. So, but now it's like, okay, after like the fifth time the guy told me, and I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry. I was like, I know you've told me this at least 15 times. I'm like, but thankfully I got a really great group of people they're just like, they have fun. They're not, we can be, we like to kind of compete, but it's a very friendly, that's what's really great. Everyone's not out to necessarily win. We're just out to have a good time. And so I got a really good group that is very good about teaching. But so I know we'll play it again. I get several people in the group that have the game. So Brass Birmingham will definitely be back
Well,
on the table.
that says something too. If a bunch of people have it, then
Yeah.
it's got to be decent.
Well, it's like an 8 something on BGG as well.
Yeah.
So it's very highly rated. And it's from Roxley, so it's good.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right, then I got in finally a year later, the year past its or almost a year past its expected
Oh yeah.
release date. Um, I got my typewriter and my paperback in from my Kickstarter, and I
Yep.
know Rob, you got yours as well. But I got
Yes.
mine before you. Ha
You
ha.
did a whole day ahead of me.
Nanny nanny boo boo.
Actually, they probably shipped out on the same day, and you're just a lot
Probably.
closer.
Yeah, I'm a little bit closer. It's shipped out of the Salt Lake area, is where they
Yeah.
shipped them
So
from. So
yeah, you might be maybe on the edge. I was gonna say you might be within that circle where it ships and it shows up next day, even when it's not next day.
yeah, I got it pretty quick. I was kind of surprised when it showed up because I wasn't expecting it yet.
Yeah.
I knew it was shipping, but it got here pretty quick.
Yeah.
So, but the cool thing now, this was interesting, is like I got these in and I played both of them the day they arrived.
Oh, very nice.
I've never done that with a Kickstarter. Oh, and I don't remember if I ever mentioned I did get my Deep Rock Galactic stuff in. That was I don't know if I ever mentioned that, but all that stuff did come in. I may have talked about it, so I won't go over it now. Um, but yeah, I guess Typewriter is a new game. You
Yes.
said,
Yeah.
and then
So the original is paperback,
okay,
which it came out some time ago, like over 10 years ago. And there was, I want to say that there was I could have
and there
sworn there was
was
a
a 10th
paperback too.
anniversary. There was a
Yeah.
10th anniversary edition of paperback.
Yeah. That's what this one is. So there was a paperback, and then they came out with paperback adventures, and there's also a paperback two
Okay,
and an unabridged. Like the original paperback, it came in this funky box that Fowers Games put all their stuff in, where it's like a long box and tall, and then the top does not fit all the way down flush with the bottom of the box. And, it was a
oof,
design choice that annoyed me a little bit, but Burgle Brothers, which is another game that they came out with, it had the same thing, and it's a nice option to have the new game, which has what I'll call in air quotes normal box.
it's a real nice
But
box.
yeah, they did a really nice job with the components. I like the art on the games, and what's cool about the typewriter one is it comes with those little keys that just so remind me of an old typewriter. Like the
Yeah,
stuff that we kind of learned to type on in school because we did that back in the day.
the kids in listening to the show are going, "What's a typewriter?"
But yeah. Oh, totally.
I had to take typewriting class in
Yeah.
junior high,
Yep. Me
and that
too.
was like a required class to pass. And
Hmm. Yeah. They always say that one way you can tell about somebody that took like a typewriter class is the double space after the sentences, because
oh
that's
yeah,
what they all taught us, that like now we're supposed to have only one space in between sentences. At least that's what I'm told.
yeah. No, I still double space to this day. Oh, but yeah, typewriter is. So I had no exposure to these. You were just like, oh, you got to get these, and you made a comment that you thought my mother would really like paperback. I was getting
Hmm.
her into the games. So I took these over that night to her house and we started with typewriter because it looked like it was, well, it even listed as a shorter game. It's like a 30-minute game. And I really enjoyed it once I figured out it's actually was a really easy game. But
Oh yeah,
it took me of like a few to like understand what it was I was supposed to be doing. And once I got it, it was like, oh, okay, this
it's
is kind of
deck
cool.
building words, basically.
So we were, and I think she liked it. She didn't really say much either way. And then I decided, hey, let's play paperback. Let's learn this one. So I broke that out and found out there's two play mats that are double sided in the thing. So there's like four different boards actually. And I was like, which one do we start with? So I just opened the rule book and I did what they call the new order, I think is what it shows on the sheet. It's like the blue side of the mat we didn't play the classic game. We did the new order one, and it was just 2-player deck building. It was her very first deck builder game, and she really enjoyed it. And we played it again this weekend. So her and I have played this now a couple of times.
Oh, nice.
And because I brought him back up because she came over on Sunday for dinner, and I was like, I brought him up, and I'm like, which one you want to play? And she's like, let's play the paperback one. And so I'm like, okay. So we played that again. And of course, now it was different over the last time because I was getting cards that were allowing, when I played the card, I was getting like, in fact, one point I was able to put 5 more cards, start with 5 additional cards in my next. So I'm pulling out 10 cards, trying to make a word. And she's like, why are you doing, that kept confusing her. And I had to keep explaining, like, because of this. And I'm like, you got to look at these things. And, I said, when you're getting these bonus points, I said, I'm getting bonus cards on my next turn. That's kind of, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. And, what I was focusing, because I don't know if you've noticed, I don't know if you've opened it yet, Rob, but
Yeah.
in the bottom of the box under the play mats, there's 3 envelopes, and they tell you can don't open them up until you meet certain challenges. And one of them is for somebody to purchase the 17-cent fame card. And it's like, I want to know what's in, I want to know. And it's like a stack of cards you add to your game. And I'm like, okay, I'm going for that 17 center. I don't care if I win or lose. I just want to try to get that card so I can get to see what and open up that extra deck of cards, right? And I got it. It was like the last play of the game because that cleared out the second fame deck when I purchased it. And I did get that card, and I opened up the new deck, and it was, dude, this was so cool because it was like, it's all new cards that go into the deck that are now available there on out to play, and they are like more powerful than what you have currently. I'm like, this is freaking sweet.
Nice.
I'm like,
well done.
And there's 2 more envelopes. And like I was telling my mother, I said, yes, I could just open these and put them in the game. But I said, the idea that I completed a challenge that allowed me to open these made that whole, like me the whole time, just trying to get that one card. That I played that game just to get that. And because I was able to get it, I was able to open. I said, that was so rewarding that I don't want to open the other 2 unless I do, like, one of them is like do something in a co-op game. So I'm like, I told her, I said, next time we play, we're going to play a co-op version of this. And then there's one for something else. And I'm like, we're going to earn those cards. And I'm like, it was so satisfying to do that I'm like, yeah, I don't want to cheat. I don't want to just open them. If I ever get to the point where I can't successfully complete it, I'm just going to rip them open, but I'm working for it, baby. So that was just really cool. It was a lot of fun. We both enjoyed that game a lot. And I shout out to Rob for the recommendation. Because I'll be honest, I didn't want it. It didn't sound anything that was interesting. And you're just like, oh, it's a great game. And I'm just like, dude, this looks so stupid.
Yeah, because I remember your mom was liking Scrabble or something like that when you first started playing with her, I think. And I'm like,
yeah,
it's a cool word game. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was. So yeah, I'm learning not to shoot Rob down on his recommendations anymore.
Or at least right away.
At least right away.
Yeah. Maybe later, but yeah.
Maybe. But so far, I think you even redeemed yourself on Coloretto, so, which I said I hated for years, and you were crazy for recommending it. And here I am now that I'm in the hobby playing it. I'm like, it's a great game.
It's a decent game. Yeah. Actually, you need it. If you like Coloretto, at least a little bit, you can try Zularetto, which is, I think Coloretto came after Zularetto.
Oh yeah.
But that's like the zoo game. That's all I'll say about that.
Okay.
Anyway.
But that's what I've been playing. We are 45 minutes in.
Yep.
I know we needed to keep this to an hour. Sorry, I went on and on a lot. I apologize.
No, there's a lot of good stuff in there. And In addition to all that stuff, I did some more Onirim. At least I
Oh
think
my god,
that's how it's
you
said.
haven't even gone yet.
No, no, I've done Onirim,
Uh,
and what's funny is I've decided I'm gonna go through all of the games, all of the Oniverse games, and
okay.
I started with the original, and I played one game with the cards, and then I went to the app because I've mentioned this game before. It is for me, it's shuffling hell. It is just so much shuffling. I am apparently not very good at shuffling, and it's so much easier on the app. It's a great game. It's also on Steam. It's on mobile, and actually the Steam version, the base version of the game is free. It's a fun little solo game. It's solo only, I believe, or cooperative. I think is with some expansions. But okay, so that was the stuff that we played. Um, and then the topic of today is game store delights. And I thought it'd be pretty cool to talk about some of the different things that we enjoy about, the local game stores that we have in the hobby. It just kind of like free form, just mention some of the things. Maybe we can just go back and forth. And, this can be very subjective, right? It can be based on personal tastes, and it can also be very let's say like limited based on geography. I don't know if I said that properly, but you might have a game store in your area that's going to be different than mine, and they offer different. Uh, there's different pros and cons of each game store, so not all game stores are created equal. So it's also cool to hear about stuff that other folks might have that we don't. So uh, I know, Mark, you go to a couple of different game stores. What are some of the things that you enjoy?
I'm pretty much down to one now. I stopped playing X-Wing, so I don't go to that. I don't go to the smaller store as often. I haven't been there in quite a while. But I was actually thinking the other day, I need to go down there and see if they've got anything new on the shelf. And they're really super cool people. What I really like about the smaller store is like I'll walk in and the owner, she's like, her and her brother own the shop, and she's like, "Hey, Mark, how you doing?" And it's like she knows you by name. She like knows all her customers by name. She's
Yeah,
super
that's awesome.
friendly. It is. It's just like that's that's just impressive. In fact, the big game store. My daughter and I went out to see a concert the other night, and it was like a block away from my store that I go to every week. And I didn't realize they were open until midnight on Fridays and Saturday nights. And
Oh,
we
wow.
were walking by because I parked where I always park when I go gaming.
And she's like, "No,
And
Dad, no, no."
yeah, she's like, because we were walking to the theater, I was like, "Hey, we're gonna go in here and we're gonna, And she's like, "No, no," and I was like, "Fine," and she's like,
Don't be a
"We can go
hater.
out." I was like, "But they'll be closed when we get out." Well, they weren't. So, but the good thing is she had to use the restroom, and she's like, "I should have gone at the theater when we left the concert," and I was like,
I
and
know a bathroom.
we went by, and I was like, "They're open." They're open till midnight.
Yeah.
And so, but anyways, we walked in, and one of the guys that works on the upper level of the actual game store, he's like, "Hey, Mark, how you doing?" I was like, well, "Holy crap!" Like
Yeah.
people recognize me up there, but they don't know my name up there. Now,
Right.
the bartender downstairs knows my name, but that's because I talk and I know
Is
his name.
is
I
that
talk to
yeah? Is that like the place where everybody knows your name?
he knows my
You
bartender
no,
does.
like that show. Never mind.
No, it's not Cheers.
Yeah. You don't have your own chair. Maybe you do.
No, no, but I do
Yeah.
put my sign out to reserve a table when I'm there or two.
Yeah.
But it's like it's kind of cool. I like going down. But anyways, that's kind of going into my second thing. I'll try to keep this. The fact of like when you're going to a local place, you are not just a number. No one knows my name at Target.
Yeah.
Okay. No one cares. And if you go to some stores, no one's even checking you out. You have to check your own self out. They don't
Yep.
even care. It's like, just give me your money. I don't even care to take it. You're just going to give it to me anyways, right? the game stores, they are friendlier. That's why they call them a local friendly game store. If you go regularly enough and you frequent them, they're going to get to know who you are. They're going to get to know your name. They do appreciate your business. And I think that's one of the coolest things about the smaller stores.
No, I totally agree. Like, there's two game stores that I go to, which I took you to both of them when you were out here.
Yeah.
The bigger one, like, there's a couple of people in there that know me for good or bad. Um, and it's funny, they have like a patron card or a frequent shopper card or whatever you want to call it, where you get like discounts after you purchase certain amounts of stuff. There's one guy that actually takes my card out as soon as he sees me walk into the store. So it's like in this old card catalog file, if you remember like the old library stuff. So he pulls it out and he has my name. Actually, I think he probably does it when he sees me walking around with the box. And I don't know if that's a good thing. Maybe I'm predictable, but
He
it
knows you.
is, yeah, it is nice to get that recognition. And another thing I wanted to mention that I really enjoy about game stores is there's something about the atmosphere in the game stores to be like surrounded by games and surrounded by people who are playing games, enjoy games. It's like there's some commonality between you and everybody else in the store. You know,
Yes.
no judging them by carrying bad games or the games we don't like. There's no judge, none of that. But it's just cool to have that atmosphere.
Even if
I'll
we're
show you.
playing Munchkin,
Is this
you're
thing
still
on?
not going to judge.
Hey, Mark, where'd you go? Where'd you go? I can't hear you. No judging, even for Munchkin. Somebody has to buy Munchkin to keep Steve Jackson games around. Actually, from what I remember, I think that's like their number one seller or something like that.
There's a ton of different Munchkin
Yeah, they got
versions
so
too.
many of them. What
Well,
else do you enjoy?
well,
Anything?
one side note is we've now said two things that any youth listening to our show are not going to know.
Utes.
We
Yeah,
mentioned typewriter, that they're not going to know what that is. Also, the card catalog,
yeah, yeah.
both which could be found in a library.
In the
What's a
library.
library?
Yeah, that's the third thing we
Yeah.
mentioned.
So, okay. So the next thing is, I love that that both of the stores that I go to, they have availability. Like people can sit and play games. Now, the big store, it's a whole separate area. You go downstairs and it's super nice. They have rooms that you can rent. So you can close a door and they got big tables and everyone, you can get your gaming group in there. So you can rent rooms by the hour. They have a full bar and restaurant in there that serves really good food and lots of drinks. When I say the bartender knows my order, I don't drink alcohol, but he knows when he sees me, he just says, "Hey, Mark." I'll say, "Hey, Ben." He's like, "You want the usual?" And I said, "Yes, please." And he knows that's BLT, no chips, with the pickle, a half order of pork egg rolls with the orange sauce, and a Coke. That's my meal every Wednesday night. Oh, but he always asks, because sometimes I'll be like, I'm in the mood to try something different. So he always asks, and he starts ringing it up, you know. So
Yep.
like, in him just knowing, and he'll walk around and he'll be walking by and he's like, "Hey, Mark, can I get you a refill?" Sure, it's like he's really friendly. The staff there is really friendly, and the fact that there's like the gaming space there is incredible. In fact, it was the one that I took you to when you were here
Yeah,
a couple
I
years
remember.
ago, and it's I think it's even different from when you were here, because I don't think they had the bar in at the time
I
when
think
you were here.
they did. I think they might have. I remember
Okay.
something off on the side where the waitress kept going.
Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, maybe yeah, you're right. That's right. I think we did have food when you were here. But it's just like, they'll do if we go in on a Saturday, usually on Saturdays, We've gone in for some Saturday mornings, and they're going to be like, we've gone in there where they're like smoking and grilling food and then bringing it down and selling it.
Yeah.
We've had like tacos that they grilled and smoked pork. What the last time I think they had pork belly and uh, these big, huge Costco sized sausage hot dog things, and it's just, you know, they do all those types of things all the time, and it's just like it's fun because you can go there, you can spend the day there, you're not. It's they probably make more money downstairs and with the food and the alcohol than they do maybe even upstairs. I don't know, but they don't like rush you out. They got games that you can just grab one off the shelf if you want. It's
Yep.
just like, and so and what I love about this, because we probably should say there's might be some negatives to your friendly local gaming store, and that's going to be the prices.
Yeah.
Prices tend to be higher because it's a small store,
Or MSRP.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, or yeah, and but the thing is I find that because of that they care about you, they get to know you. I can trust them. Who are you going to ask a question about a board game in Target? Nobody's going to know an answer. Nothing about them. They can run it through a scanner if there's no price tag on it and tell you how much it costs. That's all they're going to be able to tell you. It's your local store. You can ask questions and they'll help you and answer. And it's like it's a question. They know the answers, because that's their job. That's their business. And you're going to get good advice. This store, the one at my big store, they'll walk through. I've seen them several times. New people come into the store and they're like, we used to play as kids. I don't know, kind of want to get back into it. And they'll walk through the store with you, talking about all kinds of different things. They'll ask you like what you might be interested in, show you games that might be on that in that genre, or that like maybe like even if it's like, well, I like sci-fi stuff, right? Okay, then they're going to show you some games that have a sci-fi theme, and maybe, well, what kind of games did you like, or what might you be interested in? Well, I like rolling dice. Okay, I'm going to show you some sci-fi dice rollers, and they'll tell you about it, and then they'll go and show you lots of things, and I'm like, that is just so cool, that they do
Yeah.
that,
Absolutely.
and it's not like pressured to buy.
Nope.
Nope, it's just like they're just answering your questions.
Yeah. And and probably like the last big thing for me is the great thing about those stores is impulse buys. When you got to have it now, you can.
Yeah,
You
that's
don't
true.
even have to wait a couple of days for miniature market. You don't have to wait 2 days or 1 day for Amazon. You can get it today. Get it in your hot little hands. And
If they have it.
yeah, that's the only thing. So hopefully they got a
That's
good selection.
yeah.
Anyway, good stuff. Yeah, friendly local game stores. They're a huge part of the hobby. Love them, and they bring a lot to us. Well, not all of them. Not all are
Well,
created equal.
no, in fact our friend Franco was telling us about how horrible one was that out by him, the bad experience he had with that place. So they're not all created equal. But if you have the ability, if you're in a large city, like Rob, and I'm not in a large city, I'm a more countryish, but I've got good size enough areas around me that they have gaming options. If you don't like one game store, go to another one. They're not all the same, like Rob said,
Yeah,
and you might have you'll probably have very different experiences amongst the different ones. Um,
yeah,
yeah, and it's just and you might find different types of games. Like one store might be more Warhammer or D&D, or more miniature type of games, and another one might be more focused on tabletop games and that more traditional board games, or the modern board games that aren't miniature focused. So you might have one store that does do Kickstarters, where others might not. One thing I've noticed, like with my main store that I go to, they have, I think they get stuff. I don't think they do kicks. I don't think they do retail Kickstarter. I really don't think they do, but because it seems to take a long time for them to get anything newer. But I have seen some stuff that gives where they have like attached to the outside, like bonus content that's not available like
Right.
at your targets and stuff like that. So a lot of times these friendly local gaming stores will get additional bonus content when you're buying it from them as opposed to a big box retailer.
Yeah. So cool.
Awesome. Oh,
So
and another
let
thing, another thing,
dude, you're
and this will be
killing
my
me.
this
You're
will be
you're
my
not
last
reading
one.
the you're not reading the chat, are you?
No. Oh, all right, all right, okay.
What's your other thing
Last
really
one.
quick?
You're
Yeah.
very easy to find other people
Yes.
to play games with. So if you're looking for a group, go to your friendly local game store,
Oh,
see if they got a
totally.
bulletin board. If they don't, ask the people. They probably know. That's it. I'm out of here. Goodbye. Good luck. Good night.
No, yeah, the friendly local game stores are freaking awesome in so many different ways. And, hopefully your stores are at least even a fraction of what Mark's is. That's definitely the exception over there. So, so yeah, let's skip the top three this time, if you don't mind. And then,
Sir,
let's,
yes, sir.
exactly. Let's close it out. So thanks for listening, everybody. This has been episode 80. We'll catch you all in 2 weeks with episode 81. I'm Rob. Catch y'all later.
I'm Mark. We'll see you at the table.